What is up, baby girl? So if you are currently on a GLP-1, I am going to explain to you why it is so important that you strength train. And stick around for the end because I have a free strength training guide for anybody on a GLP-1. It is totally free. This is not a trick. Just a strength training program that you can do so that way these things don't happen to you. If you are currently on a GLP-1, you are more than likely losing weight because you are in a calorie restriction. So what the medication does is it curbs like your cravings and your appetite and things like that, so you don't eat as much. So it puts you in a calorie deficit. But the problem with that is that it could put you, especially if you're not tracking what you're eating, it could put you in a very, very serious calorie deficit. Like let's say consuming 900 calories a day, which is very, very low. And what ends up happening with that, you end up losing weight very quickly, but a lot of that is actually muscle and not fat. So why does this even matter? Well, if you end up losing muscle and not fat, by the end of your journey, you're actually going to be a higher body fat percentage overall because you've lost that muscle, and you could almost end up in a worse place. Like, yeah, sure, you might be in a smaller body, but your health is not going to be in a better place, and you were almost better off keeping the weight on because what you did was reduce all that protective muscle tissue. And so in order to prevent that from happening, number one, you are going to want to be tracking your calories just to make sure that you're not eating too little. This is very important, and this is all going to be broken down in my guide, but this is very important because if you're eating too little, it is going to severely negatively affect your metabolism and your muscle loss, okay? So that's step number one. But step number two, you definitely want to be strength training, and you want to be strength training for what I just said, to prevent or kind of minimize the amount of muscle loss that you're doing, because it's normal. And if you're in a calorie deficit, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, you will tear down some of that muscle too. But what we want to do is maintain and preserve as much of it as possible. And so that way what you're losing is mostly fat and not muscle. So that's number one, why you really need to be strength training. Number two is that strength training is going to keep you strong at the end of this. So at the end of your, let's say you lose 50 pounds, you end up just like this fragile body because you've lost so much muscle mass. And so that's what strength training is going to prevent from happening. You don't want to finish this journey and not like what you see, but also not like how you're feeling. Your metabolism is totally shot and you've lost all this muscle mass, and now you're just this fragile body. So strength training is going to prevent that from happening. Number three, it is going to be so good for your metabolism after this. Muscle helps build your metabolism, and so strength training is going to help you maintain that muscle, plus maybe add a little bit if you're a total beginner to strength training, depending on how low your calories are. But you could maybe even put on a little bit of muscle, but that's not the point. The strength training is going to maintain any of that muscle that you have, which is going to put your metabolism in such a good place when you're done losing the amount of weight that you wanted to. Now, when it comes to the strength training, like I said, I have a free guide for you, so don't worry. All of this is going to be broken down in like a super simple to follow guide, but it should realistically be maybe like 2 days a week. If you've never worked out, you don't really enjoy working out, you just started this GLP-1 because you really want to lose weight or get some health things under control, then 2 times a week of strength training is more than enough. And now, I want to be very clear when I say this. This is not some revolutionary workout program. People who are doing GLP-1s should not be training just like significantly different, like exercise and programming and yada yada. That's not the difference. The difference is the amount of volume, because yes, you do need to be doing a different amount of volume. If you're consuming 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day, you're gonna need to fit that into your programming some way. You can't do the same program that someone eating like 2,000 calories a day is doing. And so that's where the differences come in, and that's why I'm labeling this like a GLP-1 specific program, because it takes that severe calorie restriction under consideration. And so yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to check the caption. That's where the link is, where you can download the free guide. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, just feel free to comment below, or just find me on Instagram and send me a DM. Okay, bye.